The shocking truth about Leviticus. 7 unbelievable revelations that will haunt you forever. In the heart of a quiet town, whispered stories danced like shadows, hiding a well-guarded, chilling secret. Everyone believed they knew Leviticus, a mere book of rules, they thought. But oh, how wrong they were. Each carefully penned line unraveled a thread of mystery, spine-tingling and deeply unsettling. 7 revelations from this ancient text lurked, ready to ensnare anyone brave enough to seek the truth. One glance and a shiver crawled down your spine. In dim light, pages crackled as if breathing, whispering dark truths about ancient rituals, sacrifices, and the price of disobedience. What if I told you that the first revelation involved death itself? Imagine a world drenched in sacrifice, where the blood of lambs stained sacred altars, hoping to appease an unseen force. Shape-shifting shadows obscured the faces of those men and women who trembled with fear, desperation clinging to their throats. The second truth was just as eerie, a divine punishment far more terrifying than one could dream, laying the foundation for fears more chilling than even the darkest of nightmares. The tension thickened like fog rolling in under the cover of twilight. In the corner of an old library, a lonely tome lay open, revealing the third revelation. It spoke of a mysterious plague, one that struck without warning, turning the living into sorrowful echoes of their former selves. The townsfolk shivered, voices hushed, sharing fractured conversations about misfortune and whispers of a reckoning to come. As you reached the fourth discovery, your heart raced. What nightmares could possibly be brewing? Communities torn apart from betrayal, pregnant with the torment of unheeded warnings. The fifth revelation unleashed a horror so profound it left you gasping for breath. Before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon, and while you're there, smash that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. What could possibly be next? The shadows seem to twist and coil, hinting at the sixth revelation, the role of a cursed lineage, intertwined with darkness, passed down through generations like an unwanted heirloom. The pain of history wrapped around your chest like barbed wire, every gasp resonating with dread. The final revelation lurked just out of sight, daring you to plunge deeper into the morass of ancient knowledge that might unleash horrors beyond your imagining. But why had this knowledge been buried deep, hidden from all who might seek it? As you pondered this, the air thickened, anticipation crackling like electricity. What was waiting in the dark corners of history, ready to step into the light? Strange sounds echoed around the town, whispers riding on the chilling wind, carrying tales so heavy they weighed down the air. It felt as if the very walls were breathing, absorbing the secrets of the past, stifling conversations in living rooms, while tremors of fear lurked behind every door. More than a few townsfolk had sensed it, an intangible tension, a pulse in the fabric of their reality that warned of a storm brewing just out of sight. The last revelation loomed like a shadow, dark and foreboding. You couldn't shake the feeling something monumental rested on the edge of your consciousness, ready to plunge you into madness. In the hushed corners, those who had dared to whisper about Leviticus felt the icy grip of dread tighten around their throats. Rumors swirled of ancient rituals, of dark powers concealed in the pages of a book. Then, one evening, when the sky hung heavy with storm clouds, a group gathered at the library. Teenagers with an insatiable need for thrills scanned the dusty shelves, daring each other to read the words penned so long ago. But as they turned the fragile pages, an unexplainable fear rattled their bravado to its core. There was something uncanny about the room, a palpable energy, as the last flicker of light danced upon the flickering shadows. "Do you believe in curses?" someone whispered, teeth chattering though not from the cold. The group fell silent, exchanging glances that conveyed both excitement and trepidation. When it happened, the air shifted, and a book fell from the shelf, hitting the ground with a reverberating thud. Panic surged in their hearts, a wild, electric pulse that drove them to the door. But curiosity drew them back. They huddled together, hearts racing, as one of them tentatively reached for the fallen tome. The title gleamed ominously, The History of the Damned. With a shaky breath, he began reading. Words dripped like poison, detailing chilling tales of those entangled in the web of Leviticus. Outlandish punishments, deals made with dark entities, fates intertwined with an unbreakable bond of blood and sin. It was like stepping into a horror show, where each revelation seared into their minds. Suddenly, the lights flickered, plunging them into darkness. Gripped by fear, they fumbled for their phones, the glow casting eerie shadows on the walls. A voice broke through the silence, a low, mocking laughter, filling the room from all sides. Paralyzed with fear, they looked around, but only darkness stared back. "We should leave," one girl pleaded, her voice trembling. But it was too late. The ominous atmosphere weighed heavily upon them. Each breath felt like a battle. They could sense it, something awakened, restless and eager outside. An unnatural chill swept through the streets, tightening around the town like a noose. The stories of Leviticus, whispered for generations, began to bleed into their reality. The interwoven threads of history, calamity, and a long-buried curse threatened to burst forth. As the winds howled, a sense of inevitability settled deep in their bones. What had they unleashed? The darkness curdled, and somewhere deep in the library, the pages of the tome turned, revealing the seventh revelation, a truth so unfathomable that it could shatter the fabric of their world. As terror gripped them, the realization washed over like ice water. There was no turning back now. What would they face in the coming days? The echoes of the past were rising, and the town would soon know what it meant to be haunted by their own heritage. The darkness surged, an enveloping blanket that pressed against their skin, pulsating with a life of its own. As their phones flickered dimly in the oppressive blackness, uncertainty coiled around each of them, tightening like a noose. Hearts hammered in their chests, a drumroll heralding the awful unknown that lurked in the shadows. "Did you hear that?" whispered Max, clutching his phone tightly. It felt like a lifeline amid the dread. The others nodded, eyes wide, each detecting a faint rustle, a whisper of movement behind the towering shelves. A chill skittered down Ava's spine. "We need to get out." She turned, but the door seemed impossibly far away, swallowed by the void. As they huddled closer together, the air crackled with energy, a hot breath of malevolence. Suddenly, the low laughter echoed once more, a cruel sound that sent shivers racing through their bodies. It wrapped around them, squeezing tighter. "What do we do?" Jake whispered, desperation tainting his words as he glanced around. "Should we try to read more?" "No," Ava snapped, fear fueling her voice. "We need to leave now." But the silence seemed to smirk at them, daring them to make a move. Ethan stepped forward, drawn by a magnetic pull toward the book. I have to understand." His hand trembled as he reached for the ancient tome, fingers brushing against the brittle pages that beckoned him closer as he read aloud the next entry detailing a twisted pact made by the town's forefathers. An unholy wind howled outside, rattling the windows like a banshee mourning its lost soul. Each word dripped with darkness, seeping into their minds, laying bare their worst fears. He paused, his voice faltering when he reached a passage that felt chillingly relevant. "Those who dig into the past shall unearth buried sins, and the price is always paid in blood." Ava's eyes widened in terror. "We can't do this," she cried, but it was too late. Ethan's voice rose, hypnotized by the cadence of the words, pulling each of them deeper into the mire of despair. A sudden crash echoed from above, the sound of feet stomping, dragging something heavy across the floorboards. The lights flickered again and then died, plunging them into an abyss. Panic surged. Each teen scans the room, their breaths quickening. They heard something scrape along the carpet, dragging closer, each pull like a death knell ringing in their ears. Screams bubbled up, restrained only by sheer terror. They rushed to the staircase, eager to escape whatever horrifying presence throbbed behind them. Max shot a glance back, heart racing in terror. What if it's one of those things from the book? I can't. Ava gripped his arm, grounding each other in the chaos. I can't stay here. We have to find a way out. In a desperate attempt to flee, they dashed toward the emergency exit at the back of the library, the heavy door leading out into the night. A rush of wind swept through, filling their lungs with the scent of rain-soaked earth as they stumbled into the chill of the night. But as they stood outside, gasping for breath, the streetlights flickered to life, illuminating a figure standing at the end of the road. Chills raced down their spines as the silhouette took a step forward, cloaked in shadows, face obscured but with an unsettling familiarity. "Return the book," it whispered, voice echoing like a dirge through the night, chilling their blood. "Or pay a price that will seal your fates." They froze, realization coursing through them. The horrors they thought they could escape were alive and waiting. How could they return to the very thing that had awakened this menace? Would they dare to face the truth hidden within the pages once more? Because now, the real nightmare was just beginning. They stood there, hearts racing, the air thick with dread. Ava's chest tightened as she sensed the figure's gaze, a weighty silence that stretched like a taut string about to snap. The flickering streetlights cast grotesque shadows, making the figure loom larger, darker. "Who are you?" Max shouted, trying to sound braver than he felt. "Just a messenger," it replied, the voice slithering through the night. "The pact is yours now. Only you can undo it." The word pact echoed in Ava's mind like a relentless drumbeat. Divide, understand, return. It spun around her, a whirlpool of choices as the knowledge from the book surged back. Blood, pain, sacrifice. But what was the price they were meant to pay? "Move!" Jake finally broke the trance. He grabbed Ava's hand, yanking her away from the unsettling presence. They bolted, not knowing where they were heading, just running, the faint laughter trailing in the cold night air like a haunting melody they couldn't shake. Branching out from the library, they raced down darkened streets lined with trees whispering softly in the wind. But the shadows seemed alive. Every rustle of leaves felt like a malicious whisper, teasing them. Every fleeting glimpse into the corner of their eyes, an ominous figure moving just out of sight. Ethan lagged behind, still grappling with the book's twisted words. "I can't just ignore it. What if we don't return it? What if we do?" Ava shouted back, her breath coming in short gasps. "That thing out there is a nightmare. We can't do this." Max, glancing back over his shoulder, spoke up. "Ethan, listen. We don't know what we're dealing with. This isn't just some urban legend. There's real danger here. We should find help, call someone." But with that suggestion, the laughter ricocheted off the walls of their minds, a chilling reminder that there was no help to be found. They were utterly alone. Ethan's expression twisted in indecision. "But maybe we can use the book against them. It's a way out. Or it's a way in," Ava retorted, dread pooling in her stomach. "What if we unleash something worse?" As they sprinted down a narrow alleyway, they turned a corner and stumbled into an old park. The moon above cast an eerie glow on the cracked pavement and forgotten swings swaying gently. Here, hidden from the monstrous figure, a singular thought danced in Ava's mind. Where was the threshold of safety? What shouldn't have surprised them was the sudden stillness that enveloped the park, as if even the world held its breath. A prayer passed Max's lips. "Please don't let it find us." And at that moment, their phones buzzed in unison, the light piercing the darkness momentarily as a message popped up on each screen, sent from an unknown number. "Return it. Before midnight or the town will pay." Panic clawed at them, fear now suffocating. Somewhere deep in their hearts, they knew they had only hours left to act. Time shimmered as if it were leaking away through their fingers. "Let us go back," Ethan said finally, voice quivering. "We can do something. We have to." "No," Ava screamed, but the fear lodged in her throat, choking her resolve. And then they heard it, a bone-chilling sound echoing from the shadows of the park. The scraping once more, pulling closer. The call for their return. That figure was more than just a messenger. It was a harbinger of misery sealed within the pages they'd touched. Each of them felt the urgent tug of fate closing in. They could feel it crawling up their bodies, slithering toward their minds. Whatever we do, Jake said urgently, we need to decide now. They looked at each other, the weight of their choices like an anvil pressing on their chests. Did they confront the darkness, or delve deeper into their own demise? As the scraping noise intensified, twisting and circling them like a noose growing tighter, Ava's heart pounded. In that moment, they felt the shadows shift, coalesce, whispering promises of power laced with dread. What would they choose, with a malicious pact hanging in the balance? The consequences loomed like a specter behind them, waiting to strike. And the clock was ticking. The scraping sound stopped suddenly, slicing through their thoughts like a knife. The night held its breath, and for a moment, they were frozen. Ava could feel her heart hammering in her chest, as if it were trying to escape from the terror that lurked nearby. What was that? Jake whispered, eyes wide with fear. I don't know, but we can't stick around to find out, Max replied, his voice trembling. His hand tightened around his phone as if it were a talisman against the encroaching darkness. Ethan's brow furrowed, his thoughts racing. What if we only return the book partially? We could find a way to break the pact without paying the ultimate price. That's insane. Ava spat, her pulse quickening. We need to get out of this park, not get entangled further. But even as she spoke, the shadows around them began to coalesce, forming shapes that looked almost human. They emerged from the darkness, a dozen or more silhouettes with hollow eyes that glimmered with a malevolent hunger. Their mouths twisted into grotesque smiles, and the faint echo of laughter drifted through the night air. Jake stepped back, his breath catching. We have to run. Now. They turned and sprinted toward the entrance of the park just as a figure flanked to the left, cutting off their path. It was the messenger, its features still indistinct, but its presence resonated with a threatening energy that made their bones rattle. You think you can run from a pact? It hissed, drawing closer. It's already in your blood. You can't escape, just as the town cannot escape what you've set in motion. Ava felt something deep within her begin to knot. Suddenly, memories surged, bits and pieces of their earlier adventures together, bursts of laughter, the sense of safety. But that warmth faded fast as the messenger pointed a gnarled finger toward them. Time is almost up, it said, voice a chilling whisper. Every second wasted draws the shadows nearer. Enough, Ethan shouted, his throat constricting with resolve. We're not afraid of you. The message on their phones buzzed again, the words lighting up the darkness. Return it, before midnight, or the town will pay. The words hit them like a bullet. Ava glanced at her friends, her spirit stirring with a mix of bravery and panic. We either face this thing now or we risk everything. If we don't return the book, what could it mean for everyone else? Max clenched his jaw, brows furrowing in deep thought. We have to find a way to break it. There's got to be something in there that can help us. Suddenly, a thought struck Ava like lightning. What if we sacrifice our memories? What if that's the price? No, Jake interjected. That's our lives, Ava. It's who we are. We're entrapped already. We need to think fast. Ava shouted, her mind racing. The laughter echoed again, cold and taunting, swirling around them as the shadows crept closer. The lead figure of the silhouettes waved a hand, and suddenly the air grew thick, electric. Ava felt disoriented, colors swirling around her. Make your choice and be quick about it. Midnight draws near. The shadows shifted, moving as if alive, capturing every fleeting moment of doubt among them. The grotesque faces of hesitation and fear glared back at them. All right, Ava said, taking a deep breath. Let us look in the book. If there's anything we can find to help before it takes us, Max added darkly. The urgency now palpable in the AI as the group turned, ready to flee back toward their original path. A flash of light burst from the park. They hesitated, a deep sense of foreboding mixing with the flicker of hope. It was now or never. But as they moved, the shadows lunged, a cacophony of dark whispers echoing their very names, sending chills down their spines. Would they find the solution to the pact in time, or would the darkness consume them? Ava's eyes widened as she realized an unsettling truth clawed at her mind. What if breaking the pact means losing us forever? And with that thought, the figure's laughter echoed as one final revelation twisted in her heart. It was just the beginning. Ava's heart raced as they bolted through the shadows, their breaths ragged and frantic. Each heavy footfall echoed a desperate urgency, desperation clawing at their throats. The flash of light they had glimpsed flickered like a dying star, taunting them with false promises. "Keep going. Just make it to the entrance," Max urged, eyes darting back in terror. He felt the warmth of the phone in his pocket, but its power suddenly seemed flimsy against the gathering darkness. Ava turned to Jake, who was panting hard beside her. "What if we find the book and it doesn't help? What if we're too late?" Her voice trembled over the wail of the shadows behind them. "We have to believe it will." Jake shot back, but uncertainty crept into his voice. Suddenly, Ethan stumbled, his foot catching on an unseen root. He fell, and the ground seemed to roar in recognition, shadows swelling around him, hungry and eager. "Help!" he gasped, reaching out. "Ethan!" Ava shouted, spinning back. The grotesque figures glided closer, the air heavy with the rancid stench of decay. They wore expressions of cruel delight, words twirling on the air like venomous whispers. "Leave him. We can't risk it," Max implored, but even as he spoke, a part of him felt hollow for saying it. "No, we can't just abandon him." Ava's resolve hardened. With a rush of adrenaline, she lunged toward Ethan, grasping his arm as she pulled him up. The moment she touched him, a surge of energy coursed through her, a flash of images, of laughter frozen in time, moments shared and future dreams that shimmered like ghosts. "We'll figure it out together," she screamed, and in that instant, she felt the connection, fragile yet alive. But the shadows hissed as they lunged, a rush of darkness enveloping them. Ava braced herself, shielding Ethan as cold claws grazed her arms. In that moment, time warped. The world turned black and white, and the shadows looked so real, so hungry. "Run!" Ethan yelled, and together they burst forward, adrenaline propelling them into an abyss filled with terror and light. Just when it seemed they would succumb to the darkness, the book lay ahead, an altar of hope in the chaos, glowing with an otherworldly shimmer. Ava reached for it, breathless and desperate. It has to hold the answer. But as her fingers brushed the spine, the ground heaved. The messenger reappeared, towering and malevolent, baring its teeth in a wide grin of despair. "You think you can break your chains? This pact binds you. You will never leave before it could finish." The book erupted with a blinding light. Ava gasped, tears stinging her eyes. Each burst of energy surrounded them like a shield, but the shadows fought back. They writhed like smoke, reaching with skeletal hands, trying to squeeze the life from them. The laughter of the messenger grew unbearable, a chorus of chaos. "Concentrate," Max shouted, voice hoarse but determined. "What if we confront it with memories? What if we show it who we are?" Ava's heart raced at the thought, the memories of joy, pain, and love flooding her mind, a kaleidoscope of everything they had been before all of this. They were friends, dreamers, explorers. Ava nodded as the others closed in along with her, forming a small fortress around the book. Together, as they united their voices, a resonant chant lifted into the air, mixing with the light from the book. The shadows shrieked, twisting and contorting, reluctant to release their grip on their essence. But before the shadows could engulf them, the messenger's eyes flared with a dangerous brilliance. "You cannot defy your fate. It's already woven into the fabric of your souls." The clash echoed in the night, darkness fighting light, a cacophony of impending doom. A scream sliced through the air as something in the shadows broke through, its form solidifying. The messenger's smile faltered, confusion etching deep lines on its gnarled face. "What are you?" it began, but before it could finish, the light burst with an intensity that shattered the night, darkness and shadows flying apart like dust in a hurricane. But as the air cleared, revealed before them was a figure draped in darkness, more terrifying than any shadow. "I am the keeper of your memories," it rasped, its features unraveling like a nightmare. "And you have awoken me." They were still fighting, But now they faced a deeper horror. Ava's heart thundered in her chest. What do we do now? And the echo of that question lingered in the air as the shadows began creeping back, darker and angrier than before. What awaited them next was a confrontation that not even their strongest bonds could prepare them for. Ava's pulse quickened as the keeper of memories loomed before them, its presence like a suffocating fog. The words echoed in her ears. "You have awakened me." Her breath caught in her throat. What did that mean? What horrors lay buried in their pasts, waiting to be unearthed? The shadows sighed, curling around her friends with a malicious intent, searching, probing for weaknesses. They were becoming restless, and she could almost hear their frustrated whispers, clawing at her mind. Together, Max shouted again, each syllable a plea for unity as he looked between them. But Ava could see the fear flickering in his eyes, frustration bubbling just beneath the surface. "Think," Ava urged them, her voice barely above a whisper. "We have to fight back with our memories. The good ones, the bad ones, everything that makes us who we are. Like that time we got chased by those bullies." Jake piped up, his brows knitted in concentration. "You remember, right? The day we took the bikes and nearly crashed into that pond?" "Yeah, I remember," Ava said, a small smile tugging at her lips despite the terror that loomed over them. "Ethan got soaked trying to save that stupid canoe. I wouldn't have needed saving if you hadn't knocked it into the water." Ethan shot back. Laughter erupted, breaking through the oppressive air like a ray of sunlight. But the darkness seemed to recoil, the keeper's eyes narrowing as if threatened by their joy. "Do not allow memories to distract you," it hissed, almost offended. "Your strengths will bind you, but what of your fears?" "I know them all." A chill ran down Ava's spine. The keeper had intimate knowledge of their past, their failures. "What do you want?" Ethan called out, stepping forward even as Ava grasped his arm to pull him back. "I want everything," it screeched, laughter dripping with wicked glee. "I want to consume your essence, every thought, every regret. When you're gone, I shall feast." The shadows coiled closer, and for a brief moment, time felt like it had stopped. The weight of the truth crashed upon them, how little they truly knew about each other, their hidden fears lurking just beneath the surface. "Then let us confront them," Ava shouted, emboldened by the rush of their shared laughter. "Tell us what you know, and let us face it together." There was a split second of silence, an electric pause, before the keeper erupted into a frenzy of shadows, shrieking with rage. "Fools! You think you can wield such power? Your memories are mine to torture, and now you shall suffer the true burden of your pasts." As new shadows spiraled forth, arching and lunging with palpable fury, Ava could feel herself locking onto the tightness in her chest, a fear not just of the impending darkness, but of what lay buried inside. The memories they shared began swirling around her head like a fever dream, both beautiful and painful. But they had something the keeper didn't: strength in unity. "Focus," Max yelled, fixing his gaze on Ava. "Think about what we've overcome together. Those moments shaped our bond. You can't take that away from us. Remember our first camping trip?" Ava called out, eyes gleaming with purpose. "The stars, the campfire, the stories? We laughed so hard we cried," Jake added, joining in, the strength of his voice a counterpoint to the shadows gathering around them. With each shared memory, the binding of their friendship flickered to life, colors illuminating the dark. The anger of the keeper grew wild, yet their laughter intertwined like a net, catching rifts of shadow within. But just as they felt the tide shifting, the keeper emanated a low growl. "You can't hide. Your darkest fears will come for you. Do you even know what they are?" Ava's heart sank as the shadows began pulling back, revealing scattered fragments of their past. Faces twisted with pain flashed before her, laughter drowned out by haunting screams. "What are they?" Ava whispered, fear gnawing at her gut. And at that moment, the keeper leaned in, its breath cold and acrid. "What if I told you? One of you carries the weight of a betrayal." Ava's breath hitched as she exchanged frantic glances with her friends. The shadows started swirling again, a portent of their hidden secrets rising up like a ghostly fog. Tension coiled around them, emotions snapping as they faced the truth their bonds. Once thought unbreakable, now hung in the balance. Is this true? Max's voice trembled, a shadow of doubt clouding the air. Ava shook her head. No, we can't let it win. But in that throbbing darkness overshadowed by doubt, one question loomed greater than all. Who among them was the traitor? What secrets lay buried within those memories? And what terrifying revelations would come to light before this night was over? The shadows twisted, pulsating with tension as the keeper's words hung in the air. Ava's heart skidded in her chest, a heavy weight pressing down, suffocating. They had shared, laughed, and fought together. All of that hung in the balance, threatened by an unseen fissure that could rip them apart. Who are you talking about? Jake's voice trembled, breaking the silence that had settled like a cold blanket. Ava felt the fear radiating off him. She glanced at Max, whose face had paled, uncertainty flickering like a candle's flame. The keeper's laughter echoed, a chilling sound that clawed at their skin. Oh, how deliciously naive, so eager to believe in each other, yet so blind to the truth lurking in the darkness of your own hearts. I will reveal it all. Each dark secret will spill like blood, staining your trust forever. No, Ethan shouted, anger surging through him. We can't let that happen. We're stronger than you think. The shadows edged closer, whispering threats. Are you? Each secret is a thread. One slip, one fracture, and your bond will unravel before my eyes. Ava felt her insides churn. What do you know? Just tell us, she demanded, her voice stronger than she felt. This was a confrontation, and they would not allow fear to rule them. Memories, betrayals, regrets. Shall I start with the time you chose personal glory over friends? The keeper hissed, plunging its voice into a serpentine whisper that curled around their minds like smoke. Suddenly, images flashed before Ava. A blurry night blurred by teen ambition and reckless loyalty. She squeezed her eyes shut, trying to block them out. It was the time Max had gotten a scholarship, and she hadn't even applied. It felt like centuries ago, but the pain of jealousy still smoldered. Each time you let jealousy poison your thoughts, you drifted further apart. The keeper roared, its shadowy form rippling with energy. Max's voice faltered, laden with disbelief. Is that what this is about? I thought we were past that. I never meant for us to be in competition. A void opened in the circle around them, and for a moment, the laughter they had shared dimmed into shadows of regrets. Ava turned to Jake, who looked haunted. What did you let it in? She breathed. His voice was a husk, filled with a mixture of shame and sorrow. I didn't tell you about the time he hesitated, eyes darting away. What? Max pressed, anger edging into his voice. What did you do? I didn't say anything when I saw you with that girl. I could told you the truth. It was wrong and I let it slip. A tense silence tightened around them, emotions swirling. So, you held on to your silence, Jake? Ethan's tone faltered, disappointment coating his words. The keeper's shrieks of delight pierced the air. Now we peel back the layers. Each secret shrouded in darkness will consume your trust. We cannot let it win. Ava cried, channeling every ounce of determination. We have to confront this together. Reveal what haunts us. Ava felt the tick-tock of their bond fraying, but there was still a chance to weave it back together. They had each faced pain, betrayal, and remorse. The keeper thrived on division, but they had to break free of its grasp. Let us face the truth, she shouted, bracing for impact. We are more than our secrets. But even as she spoke, a gust of wind rushed through them, swirling shadows that crackled with dark energy. The keeper's form loomed larger, pulsating with rage. The air shimmered with a foreboding, an impending clash. Then don't say I didn't warn you. The keeper loomed ominously, stretching its appendages like blackened smoke. Ava's mind raced. They might confront it, but they were still standing on the precipice of something dire. Was Jake's silence the only betrayal? And beneath it all lay a greater question. What other secrets remained hidden in their pasts, waiting to be unleashed? The air crackled with apprehension as they braced themselves for an onslaught like none they had faced before. The shadows shivered around them, and Ava felt the suffocating grasp of fear tightening like a noose. The keeper surged forward, its presence growing darker, more malevolent. Whispers coiled around them, slithering through the air, igniting confusion, despair, and rage. "Look at each other," the keeper crooned, its voice oozing malice. "Do you see the betrayal festering in every glance, every unsaid word? You think you can face me? But trust me. The most gruesome monsters lie within your own souls." The words struck like daggers. Ava's heart raced. Was it really that simple? Were there demons already clawing at their insides? She reached instinctively for Jake's hand, squeezing it tightly as they teetered on the brink. "Stop it," Ethan shouted, stepping forward, chin raised defiantly. "Enough with your lies. We're here together, and no shadow can tear us apart." The keeper's laughter crescendoed, rattling Ava's bones. "Oh, how precious! But can you stand the fire that truth brings? Let us play a game, shall we?" Suddenly, the world around them erupted into a dizzying spiral, colors merging and twisting, pulling them apart. Ava felt her feet lifting off the ground as gravity faded. She clung tighter to Jake, feeling his fear pulse through her veins. The chaotic void spun to a sudden halt, and they found themselves in a dimly lit room filled with echoes of their past. Photos of laughter and smiles hung on the walls, memories exposed like open wounds. It was their lives, yet every joyful moment felt tainted by questions that had never been answered. "Look, remember that day?" the keeper hissed, gesturing to a framed photo of them at a summer festival. Max stood smiling, but guilt washed over Ava as she recalled her silent anger that day. She hadn't been excited. She'd sulked, feeling overshadowed. "Why did you never tell me how you felt?" Max's voice echoed, and the guilt turned into a sharp pain in Ava's chest. "I was scared," Ava choked out, emotions surging within her. "I didn't want to ruin what we had. I just what?" Max pressed, shadows swirling around him while disapproval flickered in his eyes. "Let jealousy taint your love for me?" And then Jake's voice broke through, distorted and raw. "What about me? What about my truth?" Ava turned her head in disbelief. "What do you mean, Jake?" Before he could answer, another photo emerged, a snapshot of a winter night. Laughter muted but captured forever. Yet the keeper's voice slithered back in. "Lies. That night after the party you both knew, didn't you? You felt the spark, and yet you never—" "Stop." Ethan waved his hands, panic crawling up his throat. "Don't do this. Don't let it win. We can beat this if we stick together. Does loyalty still matter if you hide?" The keeper taunted, its form shifting, feeding off their panic. "What if I told you secrets can twist love into something unrecognizable?" With that, the room shook, splintering into hundreds of dreamlike fragments. Ava felt a hand brush against her arm. Was it Ethan or Max? It didn't matter. They were all losing parts of themselves in this merciless game. Above the cacophony, a whisper crept back to her, a reminder of deeper, darker secrets lurking beneath the facade. What had they buried, and how deep did the roots go? A sudden awareness crashed over her. The keeper wasn't just revealing their past. It was feeding on it, tempting them with the chaos nestled in their hearts. Their shared history, once a comfort, now felt like a thin layer of ice ready to crack. Just as the fragments of the room began converging, a surge of energy coursed through the air. Ava felt it rising within her, desperate for release, desperate to expose the holder of dark secrets. "Enough!" she shouted, her voice ringing clear like a bell through the haze. "We will not be broken. We will fight. Together." But just then, the shadows converged, enveloping her in a whirlwind. The last thing she saw before darkness descended was the malicious grin of the keeper, its eyes gleaming like black coals, the embodiment of all their darkest fears. And in that suffocating darkness, she realized they weren't just fighting for themselves anymore. They were fighting for the very essence of their friendship. But could they withstand the coming storm? The tension hung thick as they drifted deeper into the darkness, torn between what they had what they feared, and what might be lost forever. As the darkness engulfed them, Ava could feel the walls closing in, shadows swirling with desperate insatiability. It wasn't just about survival anymore. The air crackled with unresolved emotions: fear, betrayal, pain, each whispering secrets that clawed at her soul. Instinctively, she grabbed onto Jake's hand tighter, feeling the pulse of their shared past radiating strength. "We need to face the truth," Ava shouted, her determination slicing through the oppressive fog. "Our memories, we can use them to break free." The shadows flickered as if contemplating her words. "Do you really think kindness can unravel the dark?" The keeper hissed, twisting closer, its chilling laughter a haunting echo that lingered in her thoughts. "You'll never erase the stains of your choices." Ethan stepped forward, heart pounding, eyes wild yet resolute. "We won't let you control us. We face tough times and come out stronger." The shadows recoiled momentarily, a flicker of uncertainty washing over them. "Do you think strength is merely in numbers?" The keeper countered, its voice curling with derision. "Each of you is a thread, one loose strand, and you'll unravel." Ava's chest felt tight, but she pushed on. "We're not afraid of the past. We experienced joy and heartache, and they shaped us. Jealousy, silence, they scorched us. But they don't define who we are." As the keeper loomed closer, darkness surged, a wave threatening to drown them. Face the truth or lose everything. In that moment, clarity cut through the chaos. "Jake, remember when we faced those bullies?" Ava urged, her voice fierce. "You stood up when no one else would. You chose loyalty that day." A sliver of warmth revealed Gilbert, their shared memory sparking something brighter within them. The shadows clenched in frustration. "Stop reminiscing. It's futile," Max interjected, "and when I faced the competition for that scholarship, you guys were my reason, pushing me forward even when it hurt." There was power in that confession, a thread weaving through the air, and the shadows recoiled again, garbled fear dancing in their features. "Pain makes bonds," Ethan continued, defiance coating his voice with iron. "You, whoever you are, can't tear apart what has been sewn together in these moments." Each shared memory brought forth light, illuminating them against the darkness. The keeper screeched, "You think warmth will fight my cold? I feast on your regrets." The shadows whipped against them like lashing tendrils, seeking to snuff out their memories. Ava focused on the warmth swelling in her chest, flooding her mind with shimmering recollections: shared laughter, unforgettable adventures, unconditional friendship. "Our memories shape the tapestry of who we are," she asserted, channeling that warmth. "We're not afraid to acknowledge our scars. They've only made us stronger." The collective realization surged: not just individual strength, but a tapestry woven from every heartbreak, every joyous moment they had shared. Each emotion resonated like a drum, creating a rhythm of resilience that pushed back against the keeper. "No!" it shrieked, its form beginning to fracture, light spilling from the gaps like blood from a wound. You can't endure." And yet, they felt the power of their unity constricting it, forcing it back. Together, Ava led, projecting their memories into the fray. Those stringed moments of fear battled with triumph, the quilt of their friendship glowing brighter with every shared experience. With each moment cast into the abyss, the shadows recoiled, shrieking in terror as they realized they couldn't hold dominion over them. The keeper writhed in agony, dark shards collapsing away like dust scattering in the wind. "You think you can banish me?" it bellowed, but the frantic desperation in its voice betrayed the flickering hope of salvation. "Yes," they chorused, arms linked, uniting against the encroaching darkness. As the last ruptured threads of shadow scattered into the night, a blinding light exploded, swallowing the void, vanishing each twisted grimace and chilling memory of betrayal. Each flicker of warmth resonated, pushing the darkness further away until it was nothing but a distant thought. Standing amidst the transformed landscape, a pulse of air surged through the clearing, where the darkness once stood. It felt lighter, filled with unyielding laughter and shared breaths. Ava's heart raced with relief, victory blooming in her chest. Did we win?" Jake whispered, eyes wide as realization poured in. Max took a breath, his voice trembling. Together, and we're still standing. Ava grinned, warmth flooding through her veins, every heartbeat resonating with their fierce bond. They had not only faced horror, but emerged whole together, reclaiming what had once been fragile and broken. The clock struck midnight in the distance, but peace would blanket the town anew. They had uncovered the truth, faced their fears, and dismantled the authoritative grip of the past. Yet, as they stood together, embracing their collective strength, a gentle breeze brushed against their skin, carrying the faintest whisper that seemed to ripple through the air, reminding them that darkness would always lurk in the corners. And so, with unity cemented in their hearts, they took cautious steps forward. Ava felt a renewed sense of purpose rise within her. They could conquer the shadows together, whatever came next. They would face it as one. As they walked into the fresh morning light, a deep-seated warmth wrapped around them, forging ahead into a new chapter, forever marked by the celebration of their indomitable friendship. For in that newfound dawn, they understood that true strength lived not just in facing fears, but in liberating memories untold, illuminating the essence of who they truly were. And that was only the beginning of a journey that promised even more adventures. A journey shared, for they had already triumphed once and would do so again, no matter the darkness that lingered. And now, as we conclude this chapter and brace for the unfolding adventures ahead, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. This is the moment to show your support, so smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions. What were your theories about the ending? Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Let us keep this journey going together.